I've helped some of my clients before file insurance claims. Don't call that 1-800 number. Call your rep, the person that sold you the insurance, because you're a past client, future client, you're renewing your insurance with them. You might have referrals down the line. So if they want to have that good line of referral business with you, they're going to take care of you. They're going to take care of you. They're going to walk you through every step. They're going to be like, no, don't call the 800 number. Let me call the department for claims for you. Now, that's the hack. What do we got on the agenda today?
Well, I wanted to ask you about contingencies. Okay, so what do you have? Your inspection, your appraisal, and loan? Is that the one?
The loan.
Okay.
Yep.
The inspection contingency is clear, right? So that's home inspection, pest inspection, sewer inspection, septic inspection, whatever inspection. The contingencies are what allows them to get out of that contract and get their earnest money back, right? In most cases, that's the whole point.
In most cases, yes.
When you sign that contract, though, it's binding. Like, if you're past all your contingencies, you can't just say, I don't want to buy it anymore. I changed my mind, right? You can't just do that.
Right. So contingencies work as long as you're within the boundaries of it, right? Okay. So for example, let's talk about appraisals. Okay. Or let's even talk about inspections. Let's say you buyer still has the inspection contingency in place. They haven't removed it yet. If they ask a seller to replace or repair any item that's on the repair request form, if the seller says, okay, I'll do them all, 100%, I'll do it all, I'll agree to your terms, buyer, they sign off on it, you can't cancel anymore. You can cancel for other reasons, but you can't use inspections as a way to cancel now. Does that make sense? Because the seller had already agreed to repairing and replacing it.
And then at that point, then you waive your contingencies for inspections, and then now everything's signed. And now, like you said, anything inspection related, you can't back out now because of that.
Right. You can't. Or the seller can exercise their right to keep your deposit, because you cancel utilizing that contingency when you already waived it, because they agreed to replace and repair everything that you requested. And for appraisal, same thing. If the home ends up appraising at the offer price, which in this case we were talking 500K, right? If it appraises at 500K, you decide you want to cancel now because it appraised at 500K, technically you can't, because that's the price you offered at. So you already waived that too. You're left with your loan contingency now. Your loan is stating that if you can't qualify for the loan anymore, maybe you open up a credit card or a line of credit and it ruined your credit score, and now your debt to income ratio went up and you can't qualify for that loan amount anymore, that purchase price of 500K anymore, then you can exercise your loan contingency. Or
if you lost your job.
Yeah. During COVID, during 2020, a lot of buyers removed all their contingencies and they lost out on deposits because they lost their jobs. There were so many buyers losing out that it became a big issue, and California Associations of Realtors released a new form for 2020, just for Rona season, stating that if you are affected by Rona in any way because of a job loss, IRCO, anything like that, and it affects your ability to buy, even with all contingencies removed, you still could get your full deposit back because it wasn't your fault. Yeah, during that year, it was crazy. All these crazy forms were coming out during that time. So those are the guidelines for all the contingencies. And there's a lot more that goes behind each, but summary, that's how those contingencies work, and that's how those contingencies protect you as a buyer. Now, I tell all my clients this: before we remove any contingency, you and me are gonna have a good chat. If I don't feel comfortable removing that contingency, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I don't feel comfortable removing it. And in that situation, let's say you're approaching the deadline for the appraisal or for any of the contingency timelines expiring, a seller will have their listing agent, send a notice to perform. And that notice to perform is gonna say, hey, we're notifying you now that you need to remove your contingency. And from this notification, you have 3 days. If you don't remove it within 3 days, we're just going to cancel. You get your deposit back and we're putting the home back on the market. Because if they don't do that, what happens is some buyers will milk the contingency timelines. And even though it was supposed to expire in 10 days, they're milking it and they're not bringing it up. It never gets removed. So now a seller, you will understand from a seller's perspective, they're thinking, oh man, I'm walking on eggshells because this buyer's not removing any of the contingencies. Are they even going to go through with the sale of my house? Am I wasting my time with this buyer, or should I put my home back on the market for a more serious buyer? That's what a seller is thinking about when you're milking the contingency timeline as a buyer. For them not to feel like they're walking on an eggshell, you're going to have to remove your contingency. And again, if I don't feel comfortable removing it, I would say straight up, we need more time. We need an extension, seller, because we need more time to talk about this. The report's not back yet. The repairs ain't done yet. We need more time before we remove this. So that's when you go back to negotiations. That's why you want to have an agent that's willing to negotiate for you and talk about all these things. There's been many times where I had to fight for an extension because we were reaching the deadline because bad weather, it took too long for the report to come out, or there was nobody that was willing to go out and do the appraisal or inspection within a timely manner. So I had to fight for an extension on our contingency because I didn't want to cancel. Because what if the home is clean? We would never know because we canceled already because our time frame expired. Hopefully that makes sense. Before I move on, Amanda has a question. She says, which ones have been the more honest home insurance companies to deal with? My insurance company, they're pretty good. You know, maybe I'm not gonna say their name because I might get shadow banned, but then I'll write it in the comments. Okay, they are good. Okay, I wrote that in the comment section. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm not gonna bring up their names, but they've been really good to me. All my claims been great. I'm gonna say this, okay? Even if that company is great, it all depends on the rep that you're talking to on the other line. If that rep is a jack, but they just had a bad day, they're not gonna write your claim. They're not gonna follow up with you. They're not gonna work your claim. Okay, so it all depends on the human being, the person that's on the other side of the phone that's helping you through this. So what I always like to do, I've helped some of my clients before file insurance claims. Don't call that 1-800 number. You know, the one that's on everybody's policies that they say to make a claim. Don't call that number. Call your rep, the person that sold you the insurance. Or if it's through your lender, you don't remember who it is, reach out to your lender and find out who they spoke with. And then speak to that rep because you're a past client, future client, you're renewing your insurance with them. You might have referrals down the line. So if they want to have that good line of referral business with you, they're going to take care of you. They're going to take care of you. They're going to walk you through every step. They're going to be like, no, don't call the 800 number. Let me call the department for claims for you. Somebody will reach out to you. They will take care, or they will at least point you in the right direction. Now that's a hack because most times people call the 800 number, right, Charles? But when you go to the 1-800 number, you're being sent to a different department and another department and another department and so forth. You're stressed out. You just want your claim to be done with. That's all you can think about, right? So don't call the 800 number. The hack is call the rep and have the rep do the claim for you or guide you in the right way to do the claim. Okay, it all depends on the person that you're talking to. Now, California, since we're on the topic of insurance, you know, California is such a bad place for insurance right now. I think I shared this on the show last week or a couple weeks ago. A lot of companies are not writing new policies in California anymore. You know that, Charles?
Yeah.
A lot of companies are leaving California because of all the wildfires, all the claims, all the payouts. They've been losing a lot of money. So right now, one of my insurance friends that's still in the industry told me that their office is only allowed to write up to like 20 or 30 policies a month. That sucks. You know why? Because if you're a home buyer, brand new first-time home buyer, you need home insurance to qualify for a loan. And let's say you're buying a home and you're on a time crunch. Let's say it's 21 days because your offer had to be competitive. Because it took so long for you to find home insurance, because nobody's writing them right now because it's so competitive, everybody's in a waiting line to get their home insurance written, it's going to delay your escrow period. Now you have to go back to the seller and ask for an extension so they don't cancel on you and put the home back on the market. Like, what if you removed all 3 of your contingencies already and you still haven't received the insurance quote to close your loan file on the home? And now you got to go back to the seller and be like, hey, seller, insurance is tough right now. I need to extend the closing. I know I said I could do it in 21 days, but now it looks like it's going to be 45 days. That seller is not going to be happy to hear that. They really probably made arrangements for movers to clean the house out. They probably were waiting for their home that they were going to sell to you to close so that they could use that fund to go and put a big down payment on their new home that they're planning on buying across country. It could be messy quick. Insurance right now in California sucks a lot. All right, well, you know, I'm going to close up with that. I know we didn't go over all the topics I wanted to go over, but we still got next week. Still have next time. I think I'm going to close it out. All right, Chi fam. So you guys take care. Thank you again for joining us today. All the likes, all the comments. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back next time. Peace.